So I have to reshoot this whole thing because my card is full. So, me. Imagine you've woken up to a bed that isn't yours. You smell pollution. Outside the window appears to be an overcast sky. There's an old Chinese man poking you with a stick, yelling something at you. Ni hao ma! You realize you're lost in China and don't know what to do. A common problem, I know, but you don't speak any Chinese. Or do you? Now, before we get started, I have to preface that I'm not actually fluent in Chinese. Now wait, don't click off the video yet. What we're going to learn today is just the absolute basics to Chinese, stuff that I can confidently teach anyone willing to learn. In this video, you'll go from being paralyzed in fear when someone says ni hao to being able to respond somewhat. No promises. Hey, not every video is perfect. First, there isn't really a language called Chinese. It's more of an umbrella term for a bunch of dialects that stem from it. And these aren't subtle differences like God save the Queen and God bless America. Nailed it. Instead, these differences make each dialect sound like a completely different language. For the purposes of this video, we'll be going over Mandarin, because that is the most common dialect and it's the one I know. No. The other big one you've probably heard of is Cantonese, but it sounds totally different from Mandarin. Example, here's 1 to 10 in both languages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And in Cantonese, Yat yi sam se lok chat bat gao sa. You have no idea how many times I had to do that. I don't speak Cantonese, so that was probably really bad, forgive me. There are also less popular regional dialects and small village dialects that most Chinese people can't even understand, but don't worry about that, because we're gonna learn Mandarin and that's most likely who you're gonna run into, a Mandarin speaker. What's the difference between Mandarin and English, or what's gonna be the hard part? Well, actually, the grammar is a lot easier than English, a language that is famous for breaking its own rules. But there are two famously difficult parts to learning Mandarin. One, it's a logographic writing system, those characters with the lines. And two, it's a tonal language, and we'll get back to that. So what's a logographic writing system, you say? Google it, you fool, damn! Just kidding. Basically, each symbol in that language represents a different word. Whereas in English, our symbols represent different phonetic sounds, and we link them together to create words. So English is a phonetic language, Chinese isn't. But it is, kinda. But don't worry about that. For our purposes, for this video, we're just gonna pretend it's not. So if you want to learn the phrase that we're going to learn today, you'd have to memorize the exact characters for each word, and they're only ever going to mean these exact words. If you want to learn anything else, you'd have to memorize those characters for those words as well. Now I know what you're thinking. Mason, I ain't got time for that. My life ain't that empty. Well, slow down there, bud. Damn. There's a solution. It's called pinyin. Now this turns into this, the alphabet. Recognizable symbols. This is pinyin, a phonetic system. It's a miracle, I know. Except, what are those lines? Those, my friends, are indicators for tones. I told you we'd get back to that. Accents. Just gonna drink some water right now, thanks. Pinyin makes reading and writing a lot easier for English speakers and anyone that uses the Latin alphabet. But there isn't really an easy way around tones. Basically, depending on the way you say a word, its meaning can change up to 5 times. 5! But don't worry, it's actually pretty simple. Let's take the word ma, for example, because it uses all 5 tones. First tone, ma, meaning mother. Second tone, ma, meaning hemp. Third tone, ma, meaning horse. Fourth tone, ma, meaning to scold or to be angry with. The fifth tone is the easiest because it's just a neutral tone, ma, and it's a question particle. So you may have realized if you're not musically inclined, this may be a little difficult because it's easier to imagine them as different pitches and notes. The first tone is just holding a higher pitch than the rest of the other tones. Ma, something that helps me with all these tones is using hand gestures just to help remember how everything goes. So the first tone, ma, is just holding a high pitch. Ma, while you say the word. Ma. The second tone starts a little bit lower than the first tone, but then you rise up. Ma, ma, ma. The third tone starts even lower than the second, but it follows a checkmark shape. Ma, 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 ma. And the fourth tone is the most fun. Just imagine slicing that tone downwards. Ma, ma, ma. As for the neutral tone, just let it fall out short. Ma, like a dot. So I like to use different chopping gestures to help me memorize the shape of the tones. So feel free to adopt that or whatever, but let's do them all together. Ma, 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 ma. Fun fact, Chinese characters were derived from essentially hieroglyphs. The word horse, ma, looks like this, but originally it looked like this. A horse. Some characters still retain a vague similarity, like the word person, ren. It kind of looks like a dude with a wide stance. Or the word car, cha, kind of looks like a cart from like a bird's eye view. Even ma still kind of looks like a horse jumping over like a fence or something. So really, tones aren't even that bad. They just take some time to get used to. But because pinyin is a phonetic writing system, you have little accents there to remind you on how to pronounce every word. You just follow the shape. And even in English, we use tones all the time to convey meaning. Really? Really? So back to the phrase of the day. 2/3 tones, no problem, right? Well, I chose this phrase not only because it's a common, useful phrase, but because it also is an example of a weird rule in Mandarin. Third tones change tone when side by side. Let me repeat that again. Third tones change tone when side by side. Why? I don't know. But we're just gonna focus on 2/3 tones today. And it's a really easy fix. Just remember this rule every time you see 2/3 tones. So all we have to do is adjust the first third tone and change it into a second tone. So instead of saying ni hao, you say ni hao. Easy fix. And it sounds way better. For no reason. It just does. Ni hao. Alright, so what did we say? Well, you probably already know. That was hello in Mandarin Chinese. The literal translation is actually you good, ni hao, which makes sense because bonus round, we're going to learn another phrase. What a smoking hot deal. If you add neutral tone ma at the end of the phrase ni hao, you get ni hao ma, which means you're saying how are you? Since the neutral tone ma is just a question particle. Literally, it's still you good, but because it's a question, it's now you good? Because question? Alright, so we've learned a lot. Let's review. You know that there are many different dialects in Chinese, Mandarin being the most common. Chinese characters are confusing hieroglyphs, and you're probably better off sticking with pinyin to start. Pinyin being a phonetic writing system. There are 5 tones in Mandarin, them being ma, 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 and ma. And how to say hello, ni hao, and how are you, ni hao ma. So if you're in the situation as stated in the start of this video, ni hao ma, you know that old Chinese man is just asking how are you. All you gotta do is reply hao, meaning good, or wu hao, meaning not good, because you're lost in a foreign country. So I now give you the rank of master, beginner in Mandarin Chinese. If you enjoyed this video, I recommend that you go further with this skill. Being bilingual is bilingual. Being bilingual is such a good skill to have growing up if you're a teenager or even if you're older. Who cares? Like, that's so cool if you can go to Chinatown and just like order in Chinese. That is so cool. Of course, if you want to take a course, I'm sure colleges around you probably offer something, or that you can find different courses online. I actually don't recommend Rosetta Stone. I recommend apps like Duolingo, except Duolingo doesn't have Mandarin. There's a different app that you can get on Android and iPhone called Chinese Skill. They're not a sponsor or anything. I wish they were, but like, I don't know, as of filming this, I have 20 subscribers. They're not a sponsor or anything. I just really like their app and Duolingo. They essentially do what Rosetta Stone does, but for free. Also, if you could please let me know what you thought of this video by either leaving a like or leaving a comment. I know you know that already, but I'm just starting out and I could really use the feedback. Feel free to share this if you think it can help anyone with learning Mandarin. Also, don't be a stranger. Feel free to hit that subscribe button and stay a while. My name is Mason, and I'm not fluent in Mandarin. 下次见. Ooh, well, we're not gonna be learning that one next time. Well, actually, the grammar is gonna be a lot Englisher than easy. First tone, ma, meaning horse. No, it doesn't mean horse. It means mother, meaning mother. My name is Tan Mei San. Oh, f***. This has been Tan Mei San. I did not do that right. I can't say my own damn name. Tan Mei San. 下次见. 下次见. Ah! Hi, Billy Mays here. Ready to sell you Rosetta Stone. Rest in peace, Billy Mays. It's gonna cut out in a